Hello world, welcome back to another installment of Andy's Dizzy Vlog. I am Andy. I didn't have a ton to say. I just came from Walmart. I was in there for about 45 minutes, and at first I felt a little on edge is not the right word, but a little uneasy. Not anxiety, but just like the feeling that I was a little tuned up. It's hard to describe. It's just that kind of like sense of feeling like you're overamped for some reason, like your senses are just heightened. Not to the point of anxiety, but you're just kind of aware of a lot more things. But with that being said, I walked around there, like I said, for 45 minutes, and I didn't have any phantom sensations. I didn't get overly dizzy walking through aisles, or really any type of phantom dizziness, and no like aggressive, like walking on a bouncy house type of unbalanced like I used to get. And I did take my medication right before I went there, so I'm sure that helped a little bit, kind of calm my nerves. I don't know if I covered this in the last video that I posted, but I thought it would be interesting just to talk about briefly. I asked my nearo-otolygist. He was my first specialist that I was kind of pushed on to from my neurologist, who was giving me all these migraine medications and not much was helping, so he had me go to this guy who ended up giving me clonazepam, which was kind of the first drug that did anything, but not that much. But regardless, I just had a follow-up with him on Friday. Today's Saturday, so that was yesterday. Big brains, I know. I'm very tired. I woke up at 5:30 this morning, and it's 8:45. I still have to go home and do laundry, like 2 loads of laundry, fold all of that laundry, eat dinner, which I haven't eaten yet, and I'm feeling very tired, both from the workday and just not eating. I'm gonna have pork chops, sauteed with grass-fed butter, the Kerrygold butter, salt, pepper, and rosemary, and then I will brush some honey mustard on top of that, and then I'll have a can of diced beets with a little salt. I do enjoy beets. But anyways, I ramble so much. Like, my brain just kind of jumps from thing to thing, and I forget to finish a train of thought. What I was talking about was I had my follow-up with my doctor, one of my specialists, not Dr. Bay. And I kind of asked him, I was like, I told him everything that's going on, and I just started venlafaxine. And I asked him, I was like, what is the connection between antidepressants and migraine and vertigo? Or rather, what is the connection between vertigo, dizziness, and migraines? Because, as you all know, with vestibular migraines, you can have the dizziness wholly apart from any headache or migraine sensations. So I don't understand how a headache or migraine that is seemingly non-existent is causing something else. I mean, if you don't have a migraine, you don't have a migraine, but you do, and it's causing the dizziness. I don't understand that. Of course, I'm not a doctor, so I don't study these things. But I asked him that, and of course, at the moment, they're not entirely sure. They're not entirely sure of a lot of things, I've come to find out. But they do see correlations, and there was a study on venlafaxine, I think in 2018. Forget how many patients. It was maybe 60 some patients. I could be totally wrong. If you Google venlafaxine vestibular migraine, the first paper that comes up on Google search is the study. And it's interesting. I read it. It's pretty long. But my doctor basically said that he thinks, and one of the common theories that is discussed is that your autonomic nervous system is overstimulated. And I noticed that in my different groups on Facebook that a lot of people have mentioned that their symptoms either started or got really pronounced after a plane ride. Now, I had symptoms that were very seldom, but certainly present. I don't know, probably for 6 months, if not longer. When I was working, I would notice that, when I would go into a porta potty, I would feel just all of a sudden really dizzy. And the same thing would happen where I would just be sitting down and it felt like I was swaying, like rocking on a boat. But they were so intermittent and hit and miss, and it would happen with gaps of months. So it was strange because you couldn't correlate anything. It didn't happen that often. And then I went to Miami, and on the way there, we hit some incredibly furious turbulence, and that shook me. I've flown quite a bit, and I don't really remember, but I don't ever remember being shaken up from a flight. And that plane probably dropped, it felt like 80 feet, just, and then for 20 minutes it was just going crazy, and everything was shaking, and people around me were audibly upset and worried and nervous, and the lady next to me actually grabbed my hand. So it frightened me, certainly. And then I got to Miami, and I didn't think about it after that. After I landed, it was totally fine. But then when I got to the hotel, every time I rode the elevator, before I would get on and then after I would get off, it felt like my body was bouncing up and down for several minutes. It's like I would walk up to the elevator, and right before, I would start feeling my body start bouncing, like internal tremors. So that all started in Miami. And then my very last day, I had a pretty severe, I don't recall if I had a panic attack. I was hovering on the border of 1% more up, and I would skyrocket into a full-blown panic attack. And I didn't know why. Like, we were going, it was our last night, and we were going out to a nice dinner to get some, like, lobster or crab or something. I think I got crab cakes. And I was so on edge, like, so anxiety-ridden, and had no idea why, that I couldn't eat. I don't know if any of you have experienced that, where your anxiety totally destroys your appetite. And I got this beautiful meal, and it's just like making me nauseous. So anyways, I had to box it up and take it back to the hotel, and I ended up eating it like later that night, in the middle of the night, because I was starving, and I was able to eat it. But then I flew home, and then, you know, went back to work, and everything just seemed off. Like, that's when things started being like, so I don't know if that plane ride triggered things that were already there, but then just like, that was the straw. And, you know, since that point, it got, in the next like month, or even 2 to 3 weeks, I don't remember, because this was years ago, it got increasingly, exponentially, the symptoms just kept increasing, and in both severity and frequency. So anyways, yeah, it's just interesting how antidepressants, this venlafaxine that I'm taking, might be a solution. I mentioned in my last video that I have a coworker who actually told me that a month ago she started taking venlafaxine for her migraines, and it's helped her a lot. She doesn't get them anymore. So we'll see if it takes away the migraines and the dizziness. Like I said, my nearo-otolygist seemed to pose the idea that I didn't tell him about the plane, but, you know, potentially I had some maybe genetic factors or environmental factors that were already sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? They were lending to what was to come, and then the plane ride just kind of solidified it. Like, it really, you know, launched it into full-blown vestibular migraines. So that's interesting, that my doctor, you know, proposed that it's not that the migraines necessarily are causing the dizziness, because I can get the dizziness without the migraines. He said it may be the case that my autonomic nervous system is just so amplified all the time that a symptom of that is migraines, and is also the vestibular disorders. So I think that's an interesting theory. It makes sense to me. But anyways, that was my trip to Walmart. It wasn't bad. And I'm extremely tired, but I did work 10 hours today. I've been up since 5:30, and I haven't eaten yet, and I should eat. I just got back from Walmart, and I need to carry all these groceries in my car. But anyways, I ought to show you my my porch sometime. Maybe I'll make a video showing you my Zen porch. I unfortunately don't have any time to sit out there, because all I do is work. But you can kind of see it in the background. I've got my wow, there's tons of bats out. Can you see them? They're everywhere. Holy cow. Oh, you can't see them though. There's like dozens of them. all squeaking. Where'd it go? They're so fast. Going crazy. Anyways. Yeah, I don't know. Just some thoughts that I had. I think that maybe my diet and maybe I'm jumping the gun. Maybe it's too soon. I think this is the probably the fifth day that I've been on the vaccine. And I don't know. All I had was dry mouth the first day. And other than that, I haven't had any weird symptoms. I haven't felt strange or anything. I was a little nervous that I might feel anxious or different, but I haven't. And this week was not terrible. So, it's early on, but from what I've been reading and from my friend at work who is taking it, that it's helped her, it seems promising, and I'm hoping for the best. And also, I think starting Monday, so it's Saturday night, and tomorrow's my only day off. I think I'm gonna try to get back to the gym. I don't know if I should do 5 days or every other day and do 3 days, but I should get back to the gym. I'm 227 pounds, and I should be 190 at the most, 180, 190. If I can get back to 190, I'd be incredibly happy. But along this journey has really screwed me up. When all this was first starting, I was essentially bedridden for a while and just miserable and depressed, and got up to 250 pounds, which was the most I've ever weighed. I normally hover around 180, 190, and have worked out, lifted weights my whole life, so it was 180, 190 pounds, and fairly muscular, but this condition really screwed me, and it's been a challenge losing that weight. I got down to 217 at one point, and then symptoms flared up. Couldn't go to the gym anymore, could barely get through work. Now I kind of feel like I'm at the point where maybe, some treadmill work, some light push-ups and pull-ups might be beneficial to me. I think that the treadmill helps, kind of work your vestibular system because you're bouncing up and down, So I don't know. I think that I would feel better about myself if I went to the gym this week. So I still haven't fully decided, but I'm leaning towards that I'm gonna do that. Anyways, I'm gonna cut this off before I hit 20 minutes. But just checking in, wanted to talk about my Walmart trip and the vaccine theory about the migraines and the vertigo. I thought that was interesting. I figured I'd share. So, hope y'all are doing good. If you're not thriving, keep trying, and just look for ways to I don't know what my neighbors are doing, but yeah, just look for ways to better your situation. You got to keep trying. There's no other way other than forward. And, sometimes it's 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Sometimes it's 3 steps forward, 4 steps back. And that's just how it goes. But hopefully we can all find a solution. Right now I'm still very much doing the diet, and I got this new medication that I'm hopeful for. So keep your heads up, keep trying, stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the next one.